When I first met him, he really did seem like the man of my dreams. He was very charming, educated. He had a good relationship with God. After we were married, he moved in with me, and we had really, really great times, but there were times that I seen red flags that I chose to ignore. He would get really angry and upset and break things, throw things, act like he was going to attack me, but he just didn't. I was very pregnant, and there was times that he would abuse me verbally by trying to tear me down with his words, telling me that everything that I was doing that wasn't good enough, things that I would wear that wasn't good enough, not doing well enough at work. I had our daughter, and a couple months later, that's when the physical abuse started to happen. I kept it from everybody as much as I could. He would do things to me like strangle me, hit me. He would withhold things that I needed from me. He had complete control over financial things like the bank account and everything. So if I needed something, I had to go through him. So he really had me right where he wanted me. We had a fight one night that it was actually a Friday night, and he beat me up pretty badly. And once he realized what he did, I think he ran downstairs to grab like an ice pack. And when he came back upstairs, I was trying to call 911 from my phone. He took my phone and turned it off, took the battery out, and I didn't get a chance to get anybody on the line, even though it did go through because there were police driving outside probably like 20 minutes later. They didn't know where to go, so they didn't stop. Once I did finally leave, I went to school, and I had my glasses on. I had so much makeup on, and I had an instructor that called me out on it because she could tell. And once I started crying, the makeup came coming off, and everybody could see what I really looked like. And that's when I took my first step to do something. The police were trying to work with me to get me to, tell them what happened. Once they found out what was going on, they went and arrested him. He was arrested. He ended up losing his job. And I was granted the protection from abuse order. But I did end up taking him back. After about a couple of months, the abuse started again, and it was much worse than it was before. He was strangling me, still beating on me, not so much my face where people would be able to notice, but kicking me. I had gashes in my arms a couple of times for him trying to pry my baby out of my arms because he wanted to take her from me, and he was just using her to try to get to me. There was one time where I even had teeth broken, and I could see that things were changing with him. He wasn't getting better, he was getting worse. He wasn't sorry after the abuse anymore. He was not wanting to go to counseling as much. He wasn't cooperating with the counselor. So I knew in my mind that I had to do something. I had to get a plan, and I had 3 kids, and he was the primary provider, so it was really hard for me to try to figure that out. The abuse continued, and it went from like every few days to every day. The event that happened to where I actually had to leave him sooner than what I expected, we were both off work on a Friday afternoon, and I'm not sure what exactly triggered the argument. He lashed out on me. He immediately picked me up with his hands around my neck and was strangling me. The last thing that I remembered after that, I woke up to feeling my body flopping on the ground, and I could feel my eyes rolling. I couldn't see anything. I knew that I had to come back out of it, and I didn't know how. I was just holding on to his voice. calling me names, telling me he wasn't sorry, he'll never be sorry. And as awful as it was, I just held on to that voice. All I could think about was my kids, and they needed me, and I had to come out of this, and I had to get out. This was it. And so eventually I was able to focus my eyes, and I could see him over me. And I immediately went into a panic, and once I felt I could move my body and see straight, I kind of cringed up a little bit and tried to scoot away from him in the corner. I was screaming for help. He continued to come after me, and he was throwing things at me. He was throwing dishes, glass, anything around him that he could find, he was throwing at my head, and I was covering my head. I don't know at what point he finally stopped, but he stopped, and I knew that he knew it was different, that he wasn't just going to be able to let that go. I remember that whole weekend I just was not myself. I was throwing up, I was sick, my head was hurting. That the following Monday, when he was going back to work, I reached out to a friend of mine who was an advocate at the center. I was afraid of, them telling me that they can't help me because they already helped me before. And, there wasn't any of that. It was just, I'm so glad you're letting me help you. I want to make sure you're safe. I want to make sure that you have a plan. And she told me what to do from there. I went to the center the next day, and we got another protection order filed on him, and he was served in traffic that day before he was even able to come back home. She was there for me every step of the way. My self-esteem has improved. I am a better mother, and I found a wonderful job, and my life has just been amazing. And I was thinking that there was nobody out there that could help me, and everywhere that I turned, I felt like I was, hitting a brick wall. And when you have children that are your life, and that you would do anything for, that's a lot on your shoulders. I had to find my own strength, and I had to make sure that I was going to be there for my children because they needed me. And I just want people to know that there is help, and the center was that for me. And I don't know where I would be today without them.